Well, more changes are coming at City Hall following recommendations included in the George Cuff audit. City Council has taken steps toward implementing a new governance model. City Hall reporter RM McVicker has more on the committee system.
The worst thing is you can do is be in the council chamber and have no time to get your research done before you're asked to vote on things.
And that's exactly what City Council is trying to put a stop to with the implementation of a committee governance model.
I think this will give the opportunity to help ensure that information has been gathered before it reaches the council chambers for further debate.
The adoption of a governance priorities committee would give mayor and council extra time to review big ticket items outside of regular council meetings.
If we have something on our mind, we have questions, we can direct that to administration and make sure that when it gets to council, it can be further debated and then voted on. It doesn't have to be sent back to be tabled.
A change in the city's governance model topped the list of recommendations included in George Cuff's audit, expected to improve efficiency in City Hall.
There's absolutely no cons in my eyes. It's all pro. It's all for the benefit of all of us.
Councillor Baker has long been calling for a move to a committee system, voicing his displeasure with having only 3 days to review an entire council agenda.
If we have a big issue on the table or a controversial issue, and we got to all go out and meet the public or research rather than just flowing it through council, we got some time to do that.
Now, council has decided to continue with their bi-weekly regular council meetings with the addition of one GPC meeting per month. Now, that will most likely take place on the Monday between council meetings to accommodate councillors with full-time jobs.
People work. There's a lot of people have jobs. They don't have 12 hours a day, 7 days a week to do all this stuff, and sometimes they got to do it in the evening, sometime on the weekend.
Administration has now been tasked to make revisions to the procedure bylaw to create the GPC meeting model. Those meetings will be open to the public. An updated schedule can be found on the city's website. RM McVicker, Newcap News.
The larger than normal amounts of precipitation are creating problems in the RM of Wilton, a problem not seen in more than 20 years. The gravel roads, which make up about 80% of the municipality, are taking quite a beating.
We can't get out the equipment and the gravel that's necessary to keep the roads in good repair. So they're deteriorating as we speak.
Reeve Glenn Dow says they expect this to be about a $2 million problem. Right now there's a 75% road ban, and Dow urges motorists to pay extra attention when approaching any kind of construction or surfaces that look unusual.
We have roads that are out of play right now that are shut down completely except to light traffic, some with water over roads in some places, and other roads that are just generally in impossible driving conditions for light vehicles.
Dow says they have crews standing by and lots of gravel in stock, but a break from the weather is necessary. He adds it's going to take them a while to pull back into good condition. And it feels like winter may never end, and these cold, wet conditions also wreaking havoc on local sports fields. The city of Lloydminster is urging residents and user groups to not use local sports fields until conditions change. This to prevent damage to playing surfaces. Traditionally, the fields open on May 1st, but the city is anticipating the opening date will be delayed at least 1 week to give the fields time to dry. It's about to get more expensive for curbside collection in the border city. Due to a $49,000 rate deficit between the city and GFL Environmental, residents will pay $16 monthly for curbside collection, up 50 cents from years prior. This would bring the total charge on residents to $20, including landfill fees. Council admitting the increase was an oversight in a busy budget process.
And this was one of those that was in the budget, 50 cents. But after we've went through how many increases since this council's taken effect, it's challenging us as council because we certainly can feel it as well. The residents do speak out and they express saying how much more. And I hope we're nearing the end of that now, that we're not going to have another increase of any sort before in 2017.
The amendment to the curbside collection bylaw has only passed first reading. The president of QP Local 5111 is starting preliminary meetings today with members who have had their job cut through the Saskatchewan government's budget. A total of 3 positions have been cut in the Prairie North Health region, 2 of which are in the parent mentoring program.
And we're losing 1 position in podiatry, where we have an LPN who assists in foot care with a lot of times elderly or people with needs that can't travel as much and things like that.
Maneg says he was shocked when he heard of the cuts and fears there could be more in the region. He will meet with affected members in Meadow Lake today and in North Battleford Friday.
This is just to review their options under our collective agreement, whether there's other jobs they can go to or whether they're going to be on a layoff list and looking for other jobs in Prairie North.
Now there are 2,200 CUPE members under the Prairie North Health Region. Well, Canadian Blood Services was in the border city this week for one of its 3 annual donation clinics. Each stop in Lloydminster produces 120 units of blood, which is critical with the growing need across the country in 2017. Josh Ryan has more in this week's Healthy Living.
Blood. It's a necessity of life and in heavy demand across the country.
Basically, every 60 seconds, someone in Canada needs blood. So we need these collections to support our hospitals.
Blood donation clinics like this one come to small cities every year, hoping to gain new donors, particularly universal ones.
Only 7% of Canadians have O-negative blood. But that being said, we need all blood types. In every situation where possible, the patient is given their exact blood type.
Here in Lloydminster reside a number of familiar faces like Christian Holden and Robert Benning, who've both donated blood regularly since university.
It was something that you could do where you didn't have a financial obligation and be able to help out, and just been something kept doing over the years.
We need blood in our communities to heal the injured and those that have disease, and I feel that I can contribute and help out.
Despite regulars steadily contributing, James estimates they will lose 35,000 donations in 2017 because of the wait period between donations for women is now 84 days.
And we need to replace those with new donors. So we definitely don't want to turn anyone away, but that being said, we do have a certain amount of spots for walk-ins.
Advances in technology and structure have made the process easier and safer, even for those hesitant around needles.
It takes an hour out of your day, once every 6 months or 4 months, whatever the timeline is, and it's easy. There are people that do struggle with it, but I've never had a problem with it.
However, the first step is making sure you're eligible to donate, as there are wait times for people who've recently had a piercing, among other situations.
If you've been traveling to a malaria risk country or a hepatitis risk country, then there is different wait times for that as well.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
The Lakeland College Agriculture Department will soon be completing much-needed upgrades. This fall, the Vermilion campus will open the doors of its new technologically advanced Dairy Learning Center. Brian Lentz has the details.
So these cows, in essence, will milk themselves.
That is how advanced the new Lakeland College dairy barn will be. Alongside robotic milking units, there will also be space for traditional milking techniques and technologies used for research.
We are embedding in the facility a lot of technologies around measuring energy, measuring methane production, measuring water efficiency.
The nearly 50,000 square foot facility will include a viewing deck for people to observe new developments in dairy.
We've got some technologies that are still relatively new to the industry, and we'll be able to demonstrate those to the next generation of dairy producers, the people that produce our milk.
The barn will also more than double the current Holstein dairy herd to 120 milk cows, and students say it's a necessary upgrade.
The facility we are in now is quite outdated. Most of us come from dairy farms at home, which are a bit newer, and the technology at home is more advanced. And you come to college to learn, not to go back.
Once completed later this year, the Dairy Learning Center will cost close to $10 million.
Some people might think this dairy barn is going a bit overboard on the automation, but it really is the way that the industry is moving. I mean, 10 years ago there was probably maybe only one robot, but now almost all the herds are coming into robots. The new barns are all with robots.
Alongside the new barn, $7 million renovations on the new animal health clinic will finish early 2018. Brian Lentz, Newcap News.
Getting the message across about where our food comes from is an ongoing conversation between the ag industry and consumers. In this week's Agriculture Report, Gerard Lampow meets a representative from a provincial beef group that's being recognized for its communication strategy.
The Alberta Beef Quality Starts Here has been delivering the Verified Beef program in Alberta for 14 years now.
Alberta Beef Quality Starts Here is the recipient of this year's Communications Award for their work in getting producers on board with beef verification. This is part of the national and global effort for beef sustainability. Provost producer Melissa Downing is the organization's provincial coordinator.
We are really promoting the program right now with the new Verified Beef Plus, working with the Canadian Roundtable for Sustainable Beef to meet their requirements and indicators, and then getting producers verified at that extra level.
Downing says they are doing several workshops across the province to get producers to transition to Verified Beef Plus. In receiving the award, she readily acknowledges the work of her predecessors.
I see the work that's been done with Alberta Beef Quality Starts Here over the last 14 years, and the efforts that have gone into it with everybody who's been involved, both on the board of directors and as the coordinators. So it's nice to see them recognized.
The chairman of Alberta Farm Animal Care, who handed down the Communications Award, says that Alberta Beef Quality Starts Here is being used as a vehicle to tie into the Canadian Roundtable for Sustainable Beef.
That work is ongoing, but we're getting into the final stages now, and it's exciting to see how it's coming together.
Downing is encouraging producers who are still not signed up for Verified Beef Plus to get on board.
We need to show people what we're doing and be able to prove that we're doing what we say we are.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
With just over 3 weeks to go before his SABBA provincial bodybuilding competition, it was a great time for Rene Weinkauf to bring in the big guns, literally. Lance Phillips with more.
So there's lots of different training theories.
The few gym goers who made an appearance at World Class Gym Saturday were treated to a fantastic seminar from Canadian bodybuilding pro Trevor Coot. With Coot spending the day in Lloydminster, it brought about many lessons, but one in particular that not all trainers learn.
There's always more to learn. There's more to invest in yourself and in your clients as a trainer. And investing in guys like Trevor is the best thing you can do for your business as a trainer. He knows a lot of stuff, and he's an amazing man to teach you that stuff. He's not just a guy that's invested in himself.
My approach to training now is reflective of what I've learned, and not necessarily of my experience of the day. So training somebody in their 20s, I won't go back and think about how I was training in my 20s. I think about all the experiences and the education and the knowledge that I have now and how I can apply that to that individual.
And that knowledge has altered his style over the years from a young, inexperienced weightlifter to a national level pro who teaches his clients the most important aspect of lifting weights.
That's what I'm trying to tell the guys here today is like everything that I do becomes about efficiency and doing it properly. And nobody, whether you're competitive or just going to the gym to be a better person physically or emotionally or mentally, nobody should go in and get injured.
I've worked with 3 or 4 different trainers in the past, a couple pros, and everybody has got different techniques, different ideas on things, different ways to target and isolate the muscles. Trevor's got his down to a science. I think that his education and everything back behind him is a huge difference.
It's what works for you. And Trevor's methods work for him, so I learn from the people that I physically and mentally have met that can teach me stuff that has worked for them. I want to learn from the best, and that's what Trev does for me.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports.
Local schools' rugby seasons are getting started, but mostly indoors. Although they hope to be outside by now, Lloydcomp's boys team has begun their season in the comfortable confines of their own gym. The May calendar is filled with games, and the team feels good about its chances of improving on last year's provincial tournament.
We finished 7th at provincials the last 2 years in a row. Last year we had an amazing tournament and, a couple close losses. What would be awesome, I think, if we pulled off 2 wins at provincials, that would be an amazing goal.
I think we're going to do quite well. All the guys know each other, we're comfortable with each other, and instead of being a team, we're a family on this team.
The path to provincial wins will be paved by the experienced team members returning this season.
Our strengths this year are mostly our back line. We have a mostly veteran back line, so it's just kind of the smaller, faster guys on the team.
Our entire back line is a grade 12 crew. So yeah, it'll be our best set of backs all around that we've ever had for sure.
The Barons' first game goes tomorrow versus Cold Lake at Armstrong Field. Well, yesterday we brought you the story of 3 Lloydminster teens who are on the cusp of being selected for Alberta's under-18 team. But they weren't the only Red Dogs vying for a spot on Team Alberta roster. Matthew Morin, one of the youngest players on the Red Dogs roster, was selected to Team Alberta's North squad for the upcoming Bantam Bowl, May 19th to 22nd at the University of Alberta's Foot Field.
Honestly, I'm pretty proud because there's a lot of great players out there that tried their hardest out there, and there's great that I made it.
He knows when to hit the hole hard and when to cut and make the moves. He's very quick on his feet, and like I said, he can see the play developing in front of him. That's something that you just have to be natural with. It's hard to coach that.
As a 14-year-old, being selected to the North team provides opportunities he may not get in Lloydminster.
It means a lot because there's a lot of scouts coming, more players get recognized, the players that aren't really recognized get more recognized, and the better they play, the better of chance they get to go higher.
I'm glad the coach has got to see what he has, and the crazy part is he's got 2 more years with the Red Dogs, and yeah, I'm excited to see where that will be for him. He's a great player, and I'm happy he's on our team.
And that is all the time we have in sports. Stay with us. More Newcap news and weather after the break.